today we are going deep with our first week impressions of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Is it living up to the hype, meeting our expectations? These are the questions we're going to answer in this podcast.
Our expectations are extremely high.
Through the roof.
One of us has finished the game, and we are going to talk and break this game down every possible way.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very long episode because I've written down
on in, people.
a lot of notes, a lot of thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I've been wanting to. I've been playing. Obviously, we've both been playing this game all weekend long since it came out. Just endlessly playing, and I've been wanting to like dig into it with you, and just talk about all the things. So yeah, I'm excited.
We don't talk when we're not recording. People should know that. There's no conversation.
I don't want to have anything to do with you.
This is it. This 2 to 2.5, whatever this is the conversation for the week.
Communication we have for the week.
Otherwise, it's just like grunting. Hand gestures. Go away.
Mostly this gesture of me shooing you away from me. Get away from me. Don't talk to me.
Pretty much.
Yeah. If you would like to support this channel and the 2 hours a week that we do talk to each other, please consider joining us on patreon.com/KitandKrysta. Everything that we do here is Patreon funded. So thank you so much to our wonderful Patreon family for sticking with us. We recently had a really fun bonus Q&A.
Yeah.
Which is a cool Patreon perk that our some of our Patreon tiers get. And they asked us to like take a quiz basically on things that have happened. We failed the quiz miserably.
We got what, 1 out of 5, right?
We got 1 out of 5, right?
Not the best.
But the coolest part about that quiz was there was a question about the most active person on Discord.
Yes.
And the number of messages from our most active, wonderful Patreon family member on Discord was like ridiculous.
Do you remember the number?
I don't remember the number, but I remember the person. It's Jay Rando.
Yes. The one and only Jay Rando.
Who's basically good at everything.
Seems to be.
Literally everything.
Have yet to find a weakness.
There's no weakness. Jay Rando is like a superhero. But anyways, if you would like to join our community of superheroes, yes, please consider checking it out.
And Patreon does have a great free trial feature that will get you in at our tier that gets you early access to this podcast, get you in on our Discord, all sorts of fun things. So that's a fun way to check it out if you might be on the fence.
We are getting ready to do our big Halloween monthly meetup.
Very true.
There's going to be prizes.
Very true.
We're going to play Wonder.
Tricks
People are dressing
and treats.
up. There's so many tricks. Not really that many tricks. There's a lot of treats.
You might get tricked.
Oh.
You don't know what's going to happen.
I didn't know that. I wasn't prepared to be tricked, but I guess I better steel my nerves. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, happy Halloween.
It is Halloween week.
It is.
You are apparently making a Halloween costume for me.
And us. For us.
And yourself.
It's a group costume.
Okay. I was surprised. You mentioned this before, and I was like, "Oh, that's a fun idea," but that's a lot. That sounds like a lot of work.
It really isn't. You have been badgering me for like years now.
I have?
Yes, you.
Oh.
You, sir.
About what?
Have been badgering me for years about how you would like to dress up as Lucky 2, which is your favorite character, for Halloween, but you didn't know how to do it, and you're like, "You're crafty. Can't you make me something? Like, get going." So this is the year. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
The store. I got all of the stuff to make your costume. Today I have to measure your head for the Lucky 2 goggles.
You have some other insidious purpose. This is like how they get you to like put your personal information into like a website. They're like, I just need to measure your skull.
Someone's gonna clone you
so
now.
that I can create this machine, which will be your downfall.
And it'll take over you. Next week, if there's like a robot in the place of Kit, then you'll know what happened. It's because I tricked him into a Lucky 2 costume.
All right.
So you're gonna be Lucky 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you like a thing that's basically like
a tutu. A cloud tutu.
Not like a cloud sandwich board. So you're like wearing like a suspender situation with a cloud.
Yeah.
And then the goggles, and I got you a shell to make into a little backpack for your little green shell in the back. You see? And then I'm gonna be a spiny.
Good.
So I'll have the red shell with the spines, and I'll just
give you the heave-ho out of the cloud.
I'll just tuck and roll, and you just push me out the window.
Shot put you.
You just push me out the window. And I'll just do like a front flip.
Well, we're only gonna get one shot at that video, so I hope it goes well.
It's gonna be good, people. Aim for the foam mattress in the driveway. It's It's going to be great. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've started.
Okay.
It looks great so far.
Great.
There's a lot of hot glue and cotton involved, which is fun.
Please look forward to that.
Yes, please look forward to it.
Yes, but it's just one holiday on to the next because last week was Mario Week for us.
The national holiday of Mario
And
Week.
we had nonstop Mario videos up on our channel, and we just posted a bonus video, which was us doing a tier list for all the Mario power-ups.
Yes, there's so many.
A lot more power-ups than we thought are out there.
Oh my goodness, there's
30
so
plus?
many. 30 plus, yeah.
That's a lot.
We might have missed.
I think we did.
That's okay. You guys can call us out in the comments.
Again, the debate is Yoshi a power-up?
No.
I'll be avoiding any conversations along those lines.
Yoshi is a member of the family. It's not a power-up that you can just discard.
Well, we didn't have Yoshi on the list, so I tend to agree, but I'm sure that contingent is out there, and they're going to tell you about it.
Well, guess what? You're wrong. Number one, you're wrong. But yes, that video is out. That's our I think our last sort of Mario Week themed video.
Yeah.
We had so many. We ranked the 2D Mario games. We ranked the 3D Mario games. We listened to some iconic Mario music. It was so much fun. We streamed Wonder. Yeah, it's awesome. It's been fun to just, again, celebrate the rich history that is, our favorite little buddy, Mario. It's been great.
I have one little personal plug for Mario Week.
What is it?
So we have done now 3 different themed weeks.
Yes.
We did Sonic, Zelda, Mario.
Okay.
I took a look at just how some of those videos are doing.
Yeah.
I'm quite concerned
Is Sonic the best performing one?
No, stop. That the Mario music video is not going to surpass the Sonic music one.
Oh.
And if that happens,
you're going to be in dire straits.
I mean, this video just came out, so it's too early to say.
Yeah, it's been a while since the Sonic video.
But help a guy out and watch that video so I don't have to deal with
you got to beg the people to watch
the internal pain.
This is Sega does what Nintendo don't all over again in your life.
I'm going to be upset. We're not getting Sonic Week 2 if this happens again. I'm going to delete that video.
Are you going to delete the Sonic video?
I'm going to delete the channel. I might delete the whole thing.
Delete the channel? Oh, no.
Yes.
Don't let that happen, guys. Watch the video. Oh, my gosh. I didn't realize it was up to this level of panic.
I just checked that this week. I was like, I don't like this.
This is tapping into some internal psychosis right now.
I'm never moving on from that. People should know this by now.
Oh my gosh, we shouldn't have done this. Now you're deeply injured on the inside.
All the other videos are fine. It's great. It's great. But that one in particular, I just saw that. I was like, oh, this can't happen.
Okay. All right, everyone, please save my channel. Save the channel. It's gonna delete the channel. Guys, watch the video. Oh my god. Link it in the description below. All right.
We also have coming up, not out yet, our great panel from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Yes.
So good, we had to save it for getting out of Mario Week.
Right, exactly.
That one is 10 rapid-fire Nintendo developer stories.
And they are zany people.
They're great. My favorite one is about Mr. Tanabe, who is the producer of all the retro studio, basically all the big games produced outside of Japan, so like Next Level Games, Retro. He is very different from the other Nintendo developers in Japan.
Too much barbecue in Austin.
He's become Americanized in some ways, and it makes him a little bit different.
Awesome.
And he had some inexplicable things that he did at an E3.
That's true.
That we'll maybe share with you in this video.
That was surprising, to say the least. We have some very fun stories that you may not expect about the wonderful cast of Nintendo developers. So yeah, we can't wait to share these with you. It really makes me miss them because they're just so awesome in so many more ways than you guys see when they're doing these very professional interviews and their developer stories.
Yeah.
They're as they say in People magazine, celebrities, developers, they are people too. So
True.
yes.
We're now 4 installments in.
We are
to
doing
our
so good.
Super Mario RPG streams.
I'm so proud of you.
I feel like we have finally hit the real great chunk of this game now.
Yes, we're in it.
Everything is clicking.
All of the important characters.
We got Bowser now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have all the important characters. We are pretty deep into the story. We're really getting a sense of
we just
what is
did
happening.
The Booster Tower. Booster's a big weirdo.
Booster is a creep. They need to consider rewriting that character because that is That's creepy.
Again, I played this game when it came out. I always show the cartridge when I do the stream because
you don't remember a thing.
I have not played it really since it first came out.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting the things I do or don't remember about this game.
Yeah.
Mostly don't.
There was like one moment when you were in the boost tower, you were like, I know exactly.
I know exactly. Somehow it just clicked there.
Why here? This is like the most obscure thing.
Know.
I think I need to go this way. And it's like, you're right. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Out of all the things, that's what you remember. It's so bizarre.
I don't know.
But
anyway,
it's fine. We're trying to do like get 1 star every stream. But at this point, we're
on a roll now.
We're on a roll.
Yeah.
We still have our super guy, Super Pistachio, wonderful superstar Patreon member that is our game genie. But we're doing so good, and these streams are so much fun, and it's been great for me to like get a taste of this game before the remake comes out. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing these
for the ones that you come to. That is.
I'm here.
You were at AI chatbot for a couple of these.
That was the Wonder stream where I was the AI chatbot.
I did one of these where you weren't there either. So
well, then
you've had a poor attendance. You're not getting the perfect attendance
record.
Get
the star?
No.
Oh, it's not my fault. Technical difficulties. But we figured out our technical difficulties.
My comment on this is YouTube and Twitch can really do a lot more
with the streaming
to help people get into streaming, learn how to do streaming properly.
Yeah,
like right now, it's like you have to cobble together so many, especially since we do a remote stream with the two of us being in different places. It's like it's really a lot of cobbling things together.
And if one thing gets updated,
right? Like these things are always getting updated. You never know what's happening in an update. Right. Like something can break, and then you're a like chatbot for a week.
Yeah, it's just it's tough for us. I mean, we're trying to find solutions because we do recognize that we do have a fairly complex streaming setup with it being remote. But like, if we can figure out how to launch someone to the moon, for God's sakes, can we figure out streaming?
I said this to somebody at YouTube once. I was like, you really do nothing to help like new streamers get into this or know how to do it. Like, oh yeah, you're right.
Oh well.
They didn't seem to care.
Please.
Come on.
Mama YouTube, help a girl out, okay?
Come on. That's all I have to say about that.
Help a girl out.
But yes, we're back in action.
Yes.
All right, we are just about to we rearranged our whole plan for this show so that we could do our Mario Wonder conversation first. But first, we got to shout out our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Factor. Thank you. With the busy fall season already in swing, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle.
They are the best. Like literally, this is my go-to lunch now.
Yeah.
For all the weeks, every week.
Absolutely.
Because no one has time. We don't have time, certainly, in the week to have time to prepare lunch. And this is the perfect go-to for that because it's 2 minutes in the microwave. It's never frozen, so it tastes really good. And there's so much variety. I think you can choose from like 35 plus.
That's right.
Chef-prepared meals. So you don't get really like sick of it. So this is literally, I eat this every single day for lunch now because it's so easy and so good.
Yeah, they have now kind of fall themed meals. So I'll just list a few. Cranberry pecan chicken and apple Dijon pork chops. These are great things, which if you were to make these from scratch would take a very long time.
Right.
You need a lot of ingredients, be very time intensive. But no, you just get a Factor, boom, you're ready to go, have some delicious fall vibes.
Exactly. And it's so delicious and so easy. I highly recommend. And of course, if you have some dietary restrictions or you're wanting to be really focused on doing a protein only or a keto or a veggie, like they have those options too.
That's right.
To make it really easy for you to stay on track with your dietary
goals. Yes, love us some Factor. So head to factormeals.com/KitandKrysta50 and use code KitandKrysta50 to get 50% off. That's code KitandKrysta50 at factormeals.com/KitandKrysta50 to get 50% off.
That is a lot of percentage off. We'll put the link right over here and also in the description below.
Indeed. All right.
Whew.
Without further ado, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We have a lot to talk about here. I've kind of just broken this into little chunks to make sure we don't forget anything, but maybe just for starters, kind of say like what, so you finished the game.
I beat the game.
So you finished it yesterday.
Yes.
I've not yet finished it, but I think I'm getting close.
Nice.
So I don't want to rush through this game.
Shouldn't.
Is my thing.
Absolutely not. I didn't feel like I was rushing through it. How I played this game was I would sort of go through the level very naturally. Like if I find the wonder seed within the level, great. If I don't, I would just go back to that same level after I beat it again and find the wonder seed. So when I beat the game, for all the levels that were not like the special worlds, I had found every single wonder seed and secret in it. So I didn't feel rushed. I felt great, in fact, that I was like giving it a very sort of thorough play.
Do you know what your final playtime at getting the ending was?
I think it was about...
I haven't checked mine yet.
Maybe like 12 hours?
Okay, that's good.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
But there's still badges that I'm missing. There's still...
Are you going to keep playing this game, I guess is the question.
Yeah. I'm going to move on to Spider-Man next, though, but I'm going to...
So that's a no.
I'm going to dabble back and forth.
Okay.
For sure, because I want to collect all the rest of the badges. I still have the super hard special world levels to do. I've done a few, but those are really tough for me. I know that some people are like, this game is so easy, but it was hard for me, so not easy for me. And I think there's still like other levels. Now that I've beaten the game, it's like, there's some more levels that you've not found, and here's a list of them, so you can like get to them pretty easily, I think. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. I saw you posted that video of the credits late last night. Thanks for the spoiler on that.
Do people care about that?
Some people might.
I try to make it really short. And
it doesn't matter. My eyeball still saw it.
It was just the name of Tezuka-san.
You ruined it for me.
I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot.
Someone unfollowed me because I spoiled them. I was like,
on that?
Not the credits, something else.
Really?
Like that first video I posted with like the little musical thing.
Oh, on that?
You spoiled it.
What?
And then one of our wonderful Patreon people came to my defense and was like, she didn't spoil it for you. What are you talking about? And
that's
then
pretty early in the game.
I'm going to unfollow you. I'm like, okay, go for it.
Oh, no.
But I was defended by our beautiful Patreon.
That's really early in the game.
I know. It was like the second thing in the game.
All right.
But anyways, whatever. I'm sorry if you wanted to be unspoiled by the credits. It was a 4-second scene of...
The social media blackout. Must remain in effect.
Tezuka-san's name. But anyways... but yeah, I'm prepared for this conversation. What's that
supposed to mean? Are you saying I'm not?
Understood the assignment.
Are you suggesting that I'm not?
No,
for not rushing through this game like you did.
I didn't rush.
Fine. Not at all. What do we like is our next big topic here. Now I gotta switch over to my other notes because I got a lot. Whoa! Don't look at this.
You made so many notes.
I got notes.
Instead of making notes,
instead of playing the game, I made notes so I don't forget anything. Well, I don't remember anything in particular.
Not true. But I'm glad you're so well prepared for this.
Good.
What do we like? So last week's episode, we did like a sort of final thoughts before jumping into this game. And I went back to those final thoughts. I was thinking about it, and I was like, the main thing that I was talking about, the one thing that I was really excited for, and I really want to come through in this game is I want it to be like as weird as possible. Like, it just needs to have that like zany, surprising quality to it, and it did. It totally delivered on that. And I think that's what I like the best. It was like, especially in the form of these wonder effects. Obviously, like when you're in a level and you hit one of those wonder effects, like you just never know what weird thing they're gonna throw at you, like what is gonna happen to you. And every single time I did one of them, I was genuinely surprised. Sometimes I was weirded out, which I loved. Sometimes I was laughing uncontrollably because it was ridiculous and funny. But they absolutely 100% delivered on that weird quality that I was just so craving because the other games in the series were so bland.
Yeah.
So I wanted like the extreme opposite of that, and 100% I felt that in every single level, and I was just like delighted. Whenever those little things happened, I literally was like laughing out loud to myself like a freaking maniac because I was just like so delighted by all of those things.
Yeah. I was a little worried actually about the wonder effects going into it of like, you kind of have this distinct segment in each level, and is like, is that going to be jarring? Am I going to just want to play through the level? But I never felt that way. And some of them are better than others, and some of them are more unique. But I never really had any where I was like, oh, this is worse than the level I was playing before.
Right. It's always just like,
usually
what
pretty
is
brief.
this? Oh my gosh, haha.
It's just like a little change of pace.
Yes.
And something that I think is maybe underappreciated is like how seamlessly you transition back to the normal level. I think it's pretty complex stuff how they did that.
Right.
To put you into like a logical spot back in the level.
Right.
It's not like, oh, now you're going to a loading screen and then you're back.
It was such
It's
great
all pretty
planning.
seamless.
Yeah, it was like you had like the magical, like glittery wonder effect and you're zany and weird. And then when that disappeared, when you got the seed, the screen would just like wipe. Kind of.
Yeah.
And then you would just be like, it was like a dream sequence. Like you would wake up and you would just be in reality again.
Have you ever just skipped the seed and just kept going to see what would happen?
I have, accidentally.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then
you can do that too.
At the very end, she's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many of these little details that it was just so, I mean, it really was incredible how they were able to get all of those very like different kind of seemingly disjointed ideas and get it all to work in this thing. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, so now there's a lot of info out there about how, there were people from the 3D Mario team involved in this game, and you really feel it there.
Yeah.
Because the 3D levels did have these kind of like one-offs where it's like, oh, well, in this level you're doing this weird thing, or especially in Odyssey, like, oh, you've just transformed into this thing to do this, very specialized action, and they have a lot of that as well. So it does help to keep you on your toes and wondering what's coming next. And again, they're so quick. Like you don't really have a moment to get bored of anything, even if you don't like it.
Right, exactly. I agree. I think there's so much you can see the merging of the 3D and the 2D a lot more than I expected. And I think a lot of that was absolutely inspired by Odyssey or even 3D World. There's a lot of those kinds of flavors in this game that just made it feel bigger than your typical like 2D Mario game. And I thought it was just really well done. And honestly, I was really just blown away by all the wonder effects and just even like the crazy like level designs, like the amount of new enemies that we saw.
Right.
Like there was so much that just like jammed into this game that I was like having a hard time. Like I was like, what is going on? Like what's happening here? Like it's just so much to take in. But somehow it all worked, Yeah,
I was really surprised at how many new enemies there are as well.
Yeah.
A lot of birds. What's the deal with the birds?
Scared of the birds.
Who's hating birds?
Someone had like
somebody got pecked or pooped on or something.
Like some sort of like Alfred Hitchcock like scary.
I had a seagull swoop down and steal my Swedish pancake in Sweden. I don't hate birds though.
Maybe that's
I can't explain it.
Something happened to somebody else. Like,
but those are cool, and I kind of want to learn more. Like I don't know the names of all of these necessarily.
Right. Some of them it's in the title, but the names are like ridiculous. Like angelfishes.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah,
I really like
whatever.
the other like non-Koopa, like the sea turtle type one.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think that one's very cute. I like that one. But
sometimes I feel bad about like bopping them though.
I've seen some people saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't play the game.
I just avoid. Just
pacifism.
Swim around.
All right.
Yeah. Swim around.
Yeah. I think the game looks amazing. I mean, I don't need the digital Foundry breakdown to tell me this game. Looks great.
Beautiful, colorful.
The backgrounds are so vibrant, and there's a lot happening in there. Obviously, the expressive faces, a lot has been made of that.
Yes.
But and they talked about that now. Like they really put a lot more attention into the animations to make everything feel more
cinematic,
just alive and cinematic. You definitely noticed that right away, and that was kind of beginning to end. Like I didn't feel like there's anything that kind of feels tired or like recycled. That was an issue with the new Super Mario Brothers games. It just feels like they started from scratch with a lot, which is what they should have done after 11 years.
Yeah, and some of the little details are so teeny, but just make such a huge difference in the overall like vibrancy. Is that a word? Of the game. Like there was this one thing that I posted that I literally.
More spoilers?
No, I watched this over and over again because it just made me laugh. Where like if you were in the elephant power up and you go through like a doorway, like you're kind of fat.
Yeah.
So your little butt can't like fit through. So as you're going through the door, you're like kind of wiggling through the door, and the little tail is wagging a little bit, and then you go to the other side and it sees you, from the front, and you're sort of like struggling to get through the door. Like, it's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. Because you're like, yes, that is what would happen if an elephant tried to walk through a doorway. Like, it's hilarious. And funny.
Yeah.
There's another one where when Mario goes through a pipe, he like grabs his hat.
His hat falls off, yeah.
His hat, yes, if you're getting like wind tunneled, like that would be something that would happen to you. You would lose your hat. Right. And it feels like it's a tiny thing, but it wasn't like something I was missing in other Mario games. It wasn't like I was playing like Mario 3 and like, oh gosh, I wish Mario would lose his hat, But when it did happen, you're like, yes, this makes sense. And he would reach for his hat, and it made it so much, just made it feel so much more alive. Like the world just felt so vibrant with these little details added, and I thought it was really great.
Yeah,
they were really paying attention to that.
The new transformations I like overall. We didn't have, when we recorded that tier list video, we hadn't played the game. Like the game was not out.
Yeah.
So we did sort of an addendum in the comments, but I think we gave the elephant and the bubbles an A, and then a B for the drill. Like there's no stinker. Like there's nothing that's S tier, but there's nothing that's like kind of lame is the thing.
Yeah. Nothing was like, nothing was like over the top, like crazy. I think because we kind of expected exactly what these things would do. It wasn't like surprising in any other way. It wasn't like when you got like a Tanuki suit and all of a sudden you're flying. Like that's something that's very unexpected.
There is no flight in this game, which I guess is a little unusual.
Like a little bit unusual, I thought, because Mario and flight usually goes hand in hand. But I think it also because the power-ups were done in a way where they were very logical. Like, if you become an elephant, logically, the things you could do is stomp on things because you were heavy and strong, or use your trunk. The sucking in the water was a fun little surprise for the elephant. But that's like things that an elephant does.
Yeah.
Or like a bubble. Like you blow a bubble, it bubbles around an enemy. Like what a bubble does. You know what a drill does. I think the thing that made some of those other power-ups like an S tier is that you were surprised by them. Like, you put on a cape, or you suddenly get a tail.
Raccoons
you're like,
can't fly.
What? Why? And then all of a sudden you're flying.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, that was something I didn't expect.
I
think that's why. They're almost like too logical.
They're very functional. Yeah.
And functional.
I think I like the bubble the best, actually.
Oh, really?
As I think I have not yet. I don't think I've done enough with making bubbles into platforms. I think that's something I could do more of.
Yeah.
But like we did that on our stream where there were those birds that would like fly right at you, and if you put the bubble at just the last second, they kind of like pass through it, but then like go away before they hit you.
Or they become a coin.
Yeah,
and then you get the coin.
So there's something about how they implemented that was very fun and satisfying.
Yes.
The drill, it's a bit more specialized of going into the ceiling or down into the ground, and there's some levels that really take advantage of it more, but I think just in any random level there's maybe less to do with it.
Right. The other thing about the drill is like what you're tempted to do with the drill is just to go in the ceiling or go in the ground and just like kind of skip through the level.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm not interested in. Like, I don't want to skip the level. I want to play the level.
Yeah,
so I find myself like not really using the drill to its full potential. Because I want to walk around in this level and like do things. I don't want to just be like in the ground. And I get that you're using it to like get, certain power-ups or secrets or whatever, which is fine to use in those instances. But yeah, I don't want to skip the level. I want to play the level, so...
The other thing is, now with some of the badges, like some of those badges could have been power-ups. Like the dolphin kick badge could have been, you're Dolphin Mario now. Mm-hmm. I would have liked that more. I like that badge. I would have liked to have seen Dolphin Mario more. But it is kind of a new, I don't know if we'll keep the badge system in the future, but it is kind of a new era of Mario where not everything has to be a power-up.
Yeah.
Some of them are these permanent upgrades that you choose.
Yeah, the power-ups in this game, and I was thinking there were going to be more that they were keeping secret.
You really were holding on tight to that.
Holding on tight, but it's okay. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see some more, but You know, I'm still like living in the glory days of Mario 3, where you had like a million power-ups and it was like the best ever. But it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, so it's just these 3 new ones. And then we have our fire flower and our power, like our super mushroom. And that's pretty, a star sometimes. That's pretty much it. And then you do have the badges to kind of augment, but it just doesn't like feel the same as like hitting something out of a question block and like getting it and losing it in the level. Like there's something very valuable to a power up because of that loop that I didn't even know that I would miss, honestly, until I realized that, oh, a badge is like, you never lose it. You can choose whatever. Like, I guess the accessibility of having it is like, makes it feel less special. I don't know.
Yeah.
That may be just me though. I don't know.
All right. We're going to talk more about badges in a bit. The multiplayer is, I don't know if we agree actually on that. We haven't really talked much about this because again, we don't talk. So I found, we did play some of that.
Online multiplayer.
Of you and us. Like we made a friend room and we played.
It worked.
I found that just having random people around was maybe more fun and useful than what we were doing.
I didn't like the random people around.
You don't like that?
No, I turned it off.
Really?
For my whole
I'm fascinated. Please explain this.
I don't know. It's fine if you're, you know, looking for someone to like revive you and stuff in like in a tough spot. I can see that being helpful. And I did turn it on. I did try it out for like a portion of the game. And I really try to give it a fair try. We did play together. I get the little standees. You know, I bought all the standees. I don't know why. I just wanted to have them.
It's fun to collect them.
I just want to collect them. But yeah, I found them to be, like, there are some things in the game that I do find to be distracting. And I found that to be distracting. Like, the ghost kind of, like, distracted me.
If you're in a complex level and there's people running all over the place, you can get a little turned around.
And I honestly, I like to go at my own pace. Yeah. I'm not, like, a speed runner, like, very good at platforming. So, and I want to look for secrets and stuff. So, I'm just, like, slowly making I'm not trying to, like, you know, dash through this level, and I feel like I kind of got like anxiety from all the people that were like running crazily through levels in the little ghosts.
That was me.
Yeah, I just think I would play different. It's okay. Yeah, but
okay, it's fine.
I didn't.
That's interesting.
I didn't like it. I turned it off like about a quarter of the way through and never looked back. So I never turned it back on.
Okay.
so you will not see me there.
So you don't see, because they have the live players. And then they also have like the pre-recorded, so you don't get anything.
I don't want any of it. Yeah, I turned.
Okay, you just turn it all off. That's interesting.
Yeah. You had it on.
Yeah, I have it on. I like it. I mean, I like that kind of like communal aspect of like, we're all doing this thing, and it's kind of neat to know like,
cool.
Wow, we're all in this level, and there's not that much interactivity, but it is fun. Like when you can, you know, come back from cheat a death by finding somebody or finding a standee and come back that way.
Yeah.
And you know, there are some examples of people like finding a secret because they saw somebody else as a ghost do it.
Right.
Or somebody left like breadcrumbs basically as standees. You don't like that.
No, I want to find it on my own.
All right. Well, that's fine. I mean, I think that's fascinating that there's like such a range of opinions.
Yeah. But I'm glad that it exists for people that like it and that it works well and it's not, you know, people like if you want it, and you want to have it, then it's there and it works and it's good.
Right.
That's what's wonderful about it. And if you don't want it, like me, you can just turn it off. No big deal.
The friend multiplayer, though, it just felt a little lacking. Like I think it was like when we realized, like, oh, I can't actually jump on your Yoshi because you're not really there.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bummer.
We're gonna play the co-op today a little bit more.
We are. Yeah.
And just really try like playing co-op with like a good friend. What does that feel like?
Same screen, same system co-op.
Yeah, and we're gonna really dig into that. I'm excited to do that because I haven't really done that yet.
I am also really liking, you know, we talked about the variety of the courses, but I also like how are these like non-courses that you can do too. Yes. So there's like break time, these wiggler races, the badge challenges.
The wiggler race is the best.
They just give you a lot, again, more variety.
Yes.
And you know, I keep making this comparison of like the break times kind of feel like really mini Zelda shrines where it's like here's a small random thing for you to do.
Right.
Some of them are easy, some of them are hard. I don't know. You figure it
A lot
out.
of hidden blocks in those break times.
I like those. The ones, there's also the, what's that called? The hidden...
The little...
search party.
Search party, yeah.
Yes, I don't love those so much. We'll talk about that in things we don't like so much. I don't love those. But, yeah, I mean, Mario had been mostly like just level boss. And now you have all these other things to do, and you can do them at your own pace, and some of them are optional. So
I like
fun.
how it's not level boss. Like they really changed it up, where you're like kind of retroversing a little bit in the world map.
Yeah.
You're
some of them don't even have bosses.
That's true.
Like, oh, you're just at the end.
You're just at the end. And then some of them are like opening gates to different other places.
Yeah,
some of them are, the big airship battles, and it just feels like a little bit less predictable.
Totally.
Which is kind of nice.
Right.
I like that. Yeah.
The music was a standout to me.
Yeah, the music was so good.
And again, Ask the Developer, they had Mr. Kondo on that interview, and it sounded like the sound and music team got more involved earlier on than they had been.
Yes.
Which I think made a big difference. But they just have some different kind of takes on Mario music. Like, there's like one area where you get this real kind of like lo-fi, like downbeat. I was like, oh, this is really different.
Yeah,
than
it was like a Metroid level.
Than what I've heard in a Mario game before, but it fits and it's cool.
Yeah.
And I think they just felt a little bit freed from, again, the new Super Mario Brothers motif, which is kind of like cloying at times, to just try some new things.
I like the variety in the music as well. Like there is a lot of just like, there was like that real like sort of moody underground theme. But they also had like a very like vibrant, bright sounding sort of like, kind of like that like country like Moo Moo Meadows vibe theme. Yeah. So that the sort of the spectrum of different kinds of music you would hear was like pretty good, like very broad. Yeah. And I really like that.
There's also some levels where there's kind of like an intro screen where you're like, oh, you go into a pipe and then you'll get into the actual level. Like that intro screen will have some like really cool music that you'd never hear again once you go into. It's like, wait, I wanted more of that. I think that's a good thing that they can kind of like tease you, because I can go back and listen to it, or I can
give me a soundtrack, man.
I can find it on YouTube, but.
And the other thing I loved was like the little musical callbacks to like.
Yes.
When I heard that Super Mario World song, I think my heart.
Love that sound.
I didn't like that, but I did like the sound. I do love that sound. I don't need.
Love that sound. Love that sound.
I don't need like a flower to like yell it in my head, like you're doing right. Kind of want to hit you a little bit right now. I kind of want to mute you.
We need Wonder Flower sound drops for this podcast.
They should make one of those, like a little talking flower.
You hit the button,
and there's like different phrases that you can hit.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Somebody can get like a stream deck and just like program it to make Wonder Flower sounds for this podcast.
Love that sound. Stop it. But yeah, those little musical throwbacks were pretty awesome.
Yeah. The new Mario voice, I put it in the things I like category because it did not distract me at all. I mean, again, it's somebody doing the Charles Martinet voice.
Right, it's just Mario's voice.
So I didn't have to get acclimated to something new. I would have been open to something new, but I like the Charles Martinet voice too.
Yeah.
And they're not, I mean, it's so close that I'm like, not even, it doesn't even register in me. As they're like, oh, right, that. I just keep playing.
I actually didn't play the game very much as Mario.
Oh.
I played it for like 2 levels as Mario. Okay. And then I switched to characters that I actually like more. Yeah. So I have no opinion because I did not hear his voice that much, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I play through again with Mario and see what it sounds like. But
again, like that's probably a compliment, is like, it didn't take me out of the experience. So I put it into something I like.
Right.
The last thing I have in the what I like category is how this happens kind of in the middle of the game. The overworld areas that you get into are really big and really complex. Like, I think the desert was one of the first ones you get into where there's actual like puzzles you have to solve in the overworld, and you're free to just wander freely. And there's a lot of things that, frankly, you could miss, I think, if you aren't really scouring this map.
Yeah, I really feel like World 4 is when the game...
Is that the desert?
Yes.
Okay.
Like really opens up.
Yeah.
Because in the
yeah.
beginning, two, three, 1, 2, 3, it was very much like getting you used to like the loop and like what you're doing and all that. There was a lot to throw at you, in the beginning. And then once you get to World 4, they're probably like, they're good now. They like, get it, And then the overworld was so amazing. I was actually going to put that in the what surprised us section because that really surprised me. Like I got to the overworld and was like, where are the levels? Like where's everything?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how interactive it was going to be and all these little secrets that you can find that. And then there's like so many levels in that world that just reminded me of Super Mario World. And I was like, yes, this is that game, but like in 2023. Like it's amazing how they did it. And yeah, like just looking around for secrets and sort of discovering just the overworld was almost like a game in itself. Like I was blown away by that. And
that's another thing they clearly borrowed from the 3D games. But I feel like they went even further. Like, in like 3D World, you can freely just walk around and check stuff out. But I don't feel like there was as much interactivity in that. It was just like, find the level you want to do. Whereas this has even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was great.
It was so good.
All right. What did we not like?
What did we not like?
We already know the multiplayer. Not a fan.
There's not that much, honestly. I think one thing that I kind of did turn off was the talking flowers.
Yeah.
I know this is
I have that in this category too.
Polarizing opinion because some people love the flowers and think they're hilarious and they love the chit chat. Again, I just don't like too much distraction when I play Mario games. I just want to sit there and play the Mario game. I don't need this flower to like yell in my ear every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't find them to be like, it's not like take them out. I hate them. They're horrible. No. It's fine. I just turn the audio off. They're fine.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't
reading
even,
the text is fine.
I didn't even turn it off, but I just don't like it as much as some other things. Like I feel like the things they say are like often incomplete. Like what else do you have to say? And then like just like the voice they chose for it, it's like I just don't kind of like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that sound.
Stop it. But yes, I just I could do without them, but it's not like they're like, oh, you've ruined this experience for me. These annoying flowers, like it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
So.
Search party, I put into something I don't like.
The hidden blocks was tough. Right?
We did one of those on our stream, and then I've just been skipping them ever since because I really.
The one that we did on our stream was the hardest one.
Oh, really?
All the other ones.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll go back.
I did all the other ones. I did all of them, and they were fine.
It just seemed to be like. I don't know how
you would do without.
You would know unless you saw somebody as a ghost do it, or if you had somebody just tell you.
One thing that I was a little disappointed in is because Yoshi's a playable character. Yeah, you can't get a Yoshi in this game. Like you can't really.
Oh right, you don't get
unless you
power up Yoshi.
Well, unless you have you trick your friend into playing as Yoshi, and then you just ride them the whole time, and then that's fun. But it was it's like I don't want to play as Yoshi because I don't want to play the baby mode. I want to play the real mode. Yeah. But I miss Yoshi, and there's
some additional toggles on that maybe.
Yeah, like, I just miss Yoshi.
Do I want Yoshi and Nabbit to be invincible, or do I just want to play with them?
Exactly, I don't want them to be invincible.
And then they can't become the transformations either. Yeah. So I've mostly been avoiding those characters.
I didn't play it at all.
Really?
Yeah,
but you love Yoshi.
That's the point. Is I really miss my Yoshi, but I didn't want to miss out on like the power ups and like I wanted to play the game like a normal person too. Like I wanted to challenge myself with like. The actual platform. All right. Because I know those characters are more for like little kids, beginners and stuff. Yeah. So all right. So I really missed Yoshi. I would go to the character screen and just look longingly at the Yoshi. It's like right. I wish I could play as you. But you're not fun right now.
The last thing I put in this category there are some things that are like remnants of New Super Mario Brothers that I would like to just be gone with. So Nabbit, the whole character of Nabbit, I don't really like.
You don't like Nabbit. You're not. I just ignored Nabbit the whole time.
Nabbit sticks out to me like a sore thumb in that character select. It's like.
Why are you here?
Really? Like there's no other kind of more classic Mario character.
Little kids love Nabbit though. Little kids love Nabbit, so I can see why they put him in there.
And then there's not a lot, but there are some kind of music clips that make their way into this game that are just like,
Really? Oh, I didn't notice.
like in very short levels or in very short circumstances when something will happen. And I'm just like, get this out of here. So those are all of my issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many, honestly, like near perfect game. So
next category is best character glow up.
Daisy.
Oh
my gosh,
wow.
Daisy. I played more than half the game as Daisy.
Now you're a Daisy fan.
Now I know everyone's been talking about Daisy is such a fun character to play. I love Daisy, and it's so great to see Daisy outside of like a sports game.
Yes.
And yeah, I absolutely loved it, and it wasn't a character that I was expecting to play as much in this game, because usually whenever I play New Super Mario Bros., I play as Toad.
Yeah.
So then now there's Toadette, which obviously I'm going to choose.
That's good. Yeah.
So I played maybe 40% Toadette. And then I was like, I'm going to switch to Daisy because I just want to try her out. It seems cool. And then I was like totally hooked. And I played like the rest of the game as Daisy. So I loved those two characters, but I think Daisy had the biggest glow up.
All right. I chose two non-playable. I chose a Goombas as my pick. Like, they really got the full expressive
faces
treatment.
Especially the big Goombas.
Like the main characters did.
The big ones.
There's actually not that many Goombas in this game, but they're kind of used to very comedic effect.
Yes.
And there is a wonder effect where you become a Goomba, which is really cool.
Getting into the shoes of a Goomba was like, oh, you have a hard life, man.
So it's really interesting that they chose to do that because, again, outside of the playable characters, I can't think of any other enemy that got, like, even like Bowser Jr., who is the kind of mini boss guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it's just Bowser Jr. doing stuff.
Doing Bowser Jr. things.
So they really went hard on the Goomba. And then I had to put Locky 2 in here because there's the one scene where you get the triple Locky 2 in the cloud.
True.
Like, let me in on that cloud. I want to join those guys.
Yeah. You can't get in the cloud, and when the elephant's in the cloud is hilarious.
It's not a triple cloud, though.
No, but the elephant in the cloud, though, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like it's sitting on a marshmallow. It's really funny.
Maybe I retroactively want to put Bowser Jr. as a mini boss in something I don't super...
You don't love Bowser Jr. in general.
I would prefer
Maybe you have bias.
Koopalings. I would prefer Koopalings, but I mean, just the fact that it's like always Bowser Jr.
But his dad.
I don't dislike it enough to put it there, but it's like it felt like they maybe could have done a little bit more.
Bowser Jr. is an important character.
Yeah.
So
whatever. Favorite wonder effects.
There's one that I love the most, which is you become like a slime, like a Jello.
Yes.
That level with the slime is so fun.
There's a bunch of those.
Physics are so weird when you get into the slime and you're swimming, but it's like swimming through Jello.
That felt extremely like a Cappy Mario Odyssey.
It was incredible. It was absolutely, and then the slime just has like all these different characteristics.
It's goopy, yeah.
And gooey, and you're like sticking to things, and you can also get hit. You start with a big slime, you get hit into a smaller slime.
Right.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. That was very clever.
I have that written down too. Slime ball.
I laughed a lot.
Slime ball Mario. Yeah.
I really laughed. Top down, Zelda style wonder effect.
That was great.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad we did that on the stream because I was like, ah!
That was some hype. I was like hype. I was like, okay, make me a top down Mario game now. I was so hyped for that. That was so much fun. I did try on the stream. Someone was like, "Can you fall off the edge if you go to the edge?"
Yeah.
I tried it. You can't.
You can't.
It gates you.
Okay.
It gates you. Yeah, I was gonna say that would be weird. I do like the Goomba one where you have to hide in the bush.
Right.
And the things won't eat you.
You can jump a centimeter off the ground.
It's like Link jumping.
It's like me when I try to play basketball.
That's true. But you can also run really fast. Your little feet, your little Goomba toes are just wiggling around. It's so cute. You're like, yeah. There's a lot of good wonder effects.
And then the other one, it wasn't super out there, but in the desert there are some where the level will speed up and slow down.
Yeah.
The desert entirely had this kind of otherworldly, mystical.
Yeah, they had sort of a
feel to
mirages and
so that really matched the theme of that of whoa, I'm loopy.
Too.
I'm on NyQuil or something, you know?
The whole game was on NyQuil.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. There was also one where it was like like a gravity thing where you you were anti-grav.
Right,
you didn't
right.
throw up in a costume, but you were like anti-grav.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, ooh. And I was like really nervous because I was like, when is this effect going to end? And am I going to fall to my death? And I had to like time. There was a thing where you had to time yourself perfectly so you're like over a platform. So when that effect ended, you're like, let me grab the seat just right. And then like the thing disappears and you just clunk down.
Right.
So that like the gravity is like regular again.
Yeah,
You're like, oh wow, that was intense.
It wasn't a gravity effect, but there was one stage where it's kind of like you were on a boat
tilted.
and the thing was shielded.
Yeah.
And did that make you like feel nauseous at all?
No, I have a strong stomach when it comes to that kind of
I was watching this. I was like, well, I'm not getting nauseous, but I don't think I like this. And even the enemies, they were kind of like looking like they were going to puke. I wonder how many are people having a bad reaction to that level, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I was fine, but I could see I can see somebody with, that kind of
right.
motion sickness cannot be, maybe not so fun for them.
All right, badges. Let's talk about badges.
Yeah, badges. I still have more badges to collect, honestly. So I got to go back and collect the rest of the badges. I have all of the action ones.
Yeah.
I need to collect some of those special ones.
The more passive ones.
Yeah, and the more passive ones. I did not use the passive ones that often.
Yeah.
I used sort of when I was in a jam, I would use like that start with a power mushroom one just so I could get a good power up before I jumped into a hard level. But my favorite badge is the grappling hook.
Mine too. That
one I think is so fun and has definitely gotten me out of like some dicey situations. And it's just fun. It's just fun to like wall jump that way and sort of grapple from ledge to ledge.
Yeah.
And even if there's something up there, I just want to do it for fun because it's cool,
Right.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I was maybe even a little disappointed with the badge system until I got that one because it felt like they were playing it a little safe. It was all stuff like, all right, yeah, we get the Luigi flutter jump or the crouch to jump high. It's like, yeah, we know what those are.
Yeah, and usually you can do that without a badge.
Yeah, so it's fine if you want to make Mario into Luigi or something like that. But I really wanted more like the grappling vine, which really introduce some new mechanics and. Yeah. Like, I was so happy when I got that because I was like, oh, this is an entirely new way to play that's really fun. And again, I'm pretty good with doing the little spin jump in the air to give yourself a little extra oomph. So that was a fun trade-off of, I can't do that anymore, but I can reach out and grab things.
Yeah, and you kind of cling to the wall.
And then you cling on the wall.
Yeah, and I love that. It gives you a second. You know?
So that definitely got me back in on the badges at a point where I was maybe a little down on them, and I have more to go than you do. But so hopefully they continue to be more so like that, where it's like, yeah, these are new, new actions that you can take, because I think that is where they're going to be at their strongest, where there are probably people who don't like the grappling vine and don't want the grappling vine. So great, then don't use it. Right. Pick another one of these. So having more of that variety, I think would be fun.
And the customizations, I think people really like that. I really liked it. And sometimes I did want to use like that height, the crouch jump, because I knew that level was going to have some areas that is going to be tough. Like there was replaying a level,
I kind of wished I could equip one action and one passive as well. Oh. Maybe they decided that was too much.
Too OP.
But
the balance
there could have been some fun combinations there where it's like, well, I need the sensor for this one, but it's not really doing much for me beyond that.
I never used that.
There were somewhere there's a special exit that I would miss, and they're like, go back with the sensor on and find it. They just straight up tell you to do that. So, yeah. Again, I like the dolphin kick.
Yeah, but that's only in water.
Because I've been screaming about how we need power-ups to help you get through water fast. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is exactly that.
Yeah, not too many water levels. Not overdo. No. They didn't overdo the
water. No, I didn't mind the water levels.
Yeah.
And then the one that I stuck with the most, but until I got the vine, was just the wall climb. Just the one where you go straight up.
Yeah.
That just felt like
tough action.
Just clicked with the way I was playing and helped me do some stuff that I wouldn't be able to do before. So I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What surprised us? We already talked about some of these things, but I think there's even more.
Yeah, I already talked about the overworld. I definitely continued to after World 4, all the overworlds were just amazing. And there's so many secrets. There's more secrets. I know I have more to discover in some of those other overworlds
Yeah.
or the other world maps. So I really love that. The other thing that surprised me was just how thematic music was in this game. Like they had all the little musical notes in the levels, and you would run through them, and they would be like the scale. They had all those little musical call outs for some of those mini games. And then when you beat the game, you'll know what else I'm talking about with music. Not a spoiler, but yeah, I love how music was like very front and center in this game because that's such an iconic part of Mario, you know? And yeah, I thought that was a great way to end the game as well.
One other thing about the world map, which I think is well implemented, is how those airships will just show up out of nowhere.
Yes.
Where you think like, all right, I'm just kind of clearing out some levels, and then bam, now you got to do this big airship thing.
Right.
And I like the airships, and I appreciated that had a different ending than just another Bowser Jr.
Yes.
But the fact that they just showed up out of nowhere kind of kept you on your toes.
Yeah.
Right.
I love the neon Bowser hair look in the airship.
Yeah.
The new design, like just the new design overall for like Bowser's castle with like the cloud piranhas all around him, that really like neon color scheme. I really like that. Like I think that's like such a good look for Bowser. And I'm glad that we got away from like always there's lava in this game too, but it was not associated with really Bowser.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that Bowser had like kind of like a different feel almost in this game, and that's been really surprising and fun as well.
I have, again, maybe there are at the end of this game that I haven't got to. I have not found a ghost house. No ghost houses.
You missed one in World 4 then.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well I didn't see that one then. But
I think it's a mirage.
That is one of those things that I felt got quite tired in the new Super Mario Brothers. Like, well, we gotta have a ghost house, gotta have this.
These ghost houses are so good.
So
so fun.
I would be fine if there was no ghost house, period.
No, these are awesome. I love them. I love these ghost houses. The one in World 4 is really good. There's another one that's awesome that also takes into account sort of the music thematic, which I just absolutely... I was laughing the whole time because it was so good. And you get to the very end, the stupid flower is like, were you scared? I'm like, shut up.
Well, that's a good way to do it. Again, like, don't feel like you have to cram one into every world.
It's not.
Because I really came to dislike playing those, honestly.
I love these. These are good. These are really fun.
The grabbing mechanic that reminds me so much of Kirby's Epic Yarn, where you pull
the little
grab
thing?
and pull like a little thing, like that's so well done. Like the feel of that. I hope that becomes just a regular Mario mechanic now.
Feels good.
Because they did a great job with it, and I definitely left me wanting more. Like there were some enemies that even that was how you defeat them.
There's also
the big mummy guys.
The mummy guys, and also that little like mech. Chompy thing, where you grab it,
dog thing,
and then like it gets really mad, and you let it go, and it can like chomp a block for you.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I was surprised that they kept going back to it because I thought, oh, maybe this is just one of these one-off things. But then I really came to like it. Again, it just felt so right.
And when you do the kind of like this, like the
swing
Donkey
around.
Kong swing from the vine to enemy and grabbing them, like it just feels so good.
Right, that's
when you
great.
land those things, you know.
And then my last surprise, a cameo that I'm not going to mention. But I found a cool cameo from another character.
I know what you're talking
written
about.
right there, if you want to see.
I already know.
I'm not... Good for you. We're doing a podcast. What do you think this is?
I have seen it too, is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to spoil it. There's a cool cameo from somebody in the Mario universe.
Yes.
Known for getting around. That's all I'll say there. Oh. That you do have to... I bet some people didn't see that. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. We've been mentioning this Ask the Developer, and I think it's kind of mandatory reading if you've been playing this game.
Yeah.
Or if you're thinking of playing this game, because I think this was one of the best ones where we were so surprised that they had Mr. Hayashida on this, and that he seemed completely embedded in this dev team, and he was the director on 3D Land and 3D World, and one of the producers on Odyssey, who seemed just like, he's going to be the next Mr. Koizumi. He's the new 3D Mario guy. So for him to be like on loan to the 2D Mario team speaks to how serious they were about wanting to
just redo the formula,
integrate some of the ideas from 3D into 2D. And it just sounded like they had a good vibe on this dev team where it's like, yeah, we got some of these like older guys who are passing down the teachings, and the young people are really hungry and eager to try new things. It just felt like they had the right environment.
It just seemed like it was an environment of openness.
Right.
Like they were just wanting the ideas. No idea was bad.
Yeah.
Like everyone just toss out your craziest idea and everyone's just open to it.
Yeah.
That is the best kind of environment to make a game like this, because that's how you get the weird stuff.
Right.
And yes, Mr. Hayashida is literally a genius, and you can see his stamp. And I think this mix of Hayashida and Tezuka is like kind of unbelievable and magical.
It is.
Because they both have some similar sensibilities. They understand the magic of what it means to make a Nintendo game, but they're both extremely creative people with different kinds of creativity as well. And I think the chemistry of that is like really magical.
Right.
And so it's so amazing to see these two just work together. And yes, the result is this amazing game, so really awesome.
The other thing they talked about a lot that you don't see Nintendo talking about much is the budget. They're like, oh, we had a bigger budget, or we allocated more budget into the animations.
Yes,
so it kind of made it sound like they were making these new Super Mario Brother games on like a shoestring budget, which I don't know. Like we never got details on the budget of games.
Right.
But they were pretty open about talking about that. And it does sort of speak to the point of, we want to start over. We know 2D Mario is, one of the biggest things we have going. We want to do it right. We want to have this big comeback. So it was interesting to see them speak so openly about that.
I think they're really proud of the way that they're able to implement this sort of new like level or sort of new type of style in the animations. And I think it's only possible because of additional resources. So if you want to keep doing that, you're going to have to keep allocating the resources, you know? So I'm glad that they were really transparent about that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a point of focus for them, hopefully moving forward as well. Yeah.
Before we get to our last question, we did ask our Patreon subscribers what it is that they are enjoying the most. The four options were the highly expressive characters, the wide variety of course designs, the online multiplayer, and the wonder effects. Last place, 4% online multiplayer. You were voting on this one.
Yikes,
13% said the highly expressive characters, 30% said the wonder effects, and 53% said the wide variety of course designs.
Yes.
Callie said, I've only played through the first world so far, and the expressiveness of the characters is what stuck out so far. Wonder is the first Mario game where I've ever performed actions such as tossing a fire flower while crouching just because it reflects a certain mood or emotion. Mr. Beans and Dip says, I'm surprised the wonder effects is not winning the poll. Wonder is in the title after all. It's just a wonderful pun intended to see so many different wonder effects on each stage. While yes, I do love the level designs, anticipating on what the next wonder effect will be is what does it for me. Second stage has a great wonder effect. That's the singing piranha plants.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of music tidbits in here. I love that.
And then finally, Paul says, loving the wide variety of courses, but have been really impressed by the online multiplayer. It's great that other players can leave hints for you or save you from a tight spot.
Yes.
So the last big question, this is one that we've been asking ourselves so many times, and now it's worth revisiting now that we've played it and you've beaten it. Is it a Game of the Year contender?
I think it's going to get nominated.
Get down to business.
I think it will be nominated for Game of the Year. This is such a huge step forward for 2D Mario games and just like 2D platforming in general as an important genre in gaming.
Yeah.
The way that they've stepped that genre up is like really incredible and should be recognized. I don't think it's going to win Game of the Year, but I definitely think it's going to get nominated. So
I feel more confident about this now than I did last week. Now that I played it and seen some of the reactions and the Metacritic scores higher than we both thought it would be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I'll say it's a Gaming of the Year contender for me. I mean, 2D Mario is kind of what that is video games to me, and that's like the style of game that I like the most.
Yep.
and it really
sure.
just, clicked immediately with me, and it's something that's great to revisit, but see in an entirely new way. So yeah, I do feel more confident about this broadly, though.
Yeah.
Like, I do think it could, there's so much competition this year, but I do think it could sneak a couple awards from, it's not going to sweep, it's not going to be like an Elden Ring situation.
Yeah.
But I could see it getting a couple from some big outlets, which I think would be cool.
So nice.
That would be great if we don't have like, oh, everybody's giving it to such and such. Like, have more variety this year.
I think we need to be like a little bit more surprised this year, because like kind of called it.
There are a lot of
potentials
this year.
Yeah.
We'll do predictions on that later. But
soon.
That's an interesting thing to look at as we get closer.
Yeah. And the other thing with Mario games, like I felt this way with Odyssey when it was nominated for Game of the Year, is like there's so few games that can make you feel the joy of a Mario game. Like that's just something that's so rare.
Yeah.
For you to be able to just feel happy and joyful playing a video game, and that is what this game does. That's what Odyssey did, and I think that's what makes them really special. And it's hard to like give something a Game of the Year because it makes you happy, but like shouldn't we count that as something important?
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, like if it makes you feel good and you're smiling and laughing the entire time, that means something.
It's not 100 hours long.
It's not 100 hours long. It's not gonna like make you resent being a human and make you cry and make you feel bad. Can't win Game of the Year, I guess.
Nope.
But anyways, I just love that it's so true to that. It just makes you feel good. You're just happy when you're playing this game. Yeah.
Them's are Mario Wonder deep impressions.
What a weekend, people.
Wow.
What a wonderful weekend we had. So great.
And I can't wait to hear what everybody else thought, so please leave us a comment if you want to join that conversation. We do have some other games that we've been playing. I want to rearrange this order here. I want to go to you finally beating Sea of Stars, finally.
Yes, I did complete my goal of beating Sea of Stars before Mario Wonder came out, so go me. Speaking of Game of the Year contenders, for me personally, man, this game is way up there.
Really?
I need to think deeply about this because I'm getting a little nervous trying to put this in order.
Really?
This game was incredible. Like, wow. Big W, capital O.
So
wow.
the ending was well done.
Yes, and I was so shocked by the second part of the game. I showed it to you on the plane. Remember we were talking about this? And I was just like, what is happening right now? And I finally figured out what was happening, and it was awesome. It was such a well-done game. The story was super tight and just really well-written. The characters, you just fell in love with the characters. They made you just root for them, which is the best in these kinds of RPG games. You just want to you want to root for the heroes. Yeah. And that they do, it makes you do that so much. Beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And then some of the ending sequences with some of the battles were super intense, but you just felt like really powerful, and you felt like you got the strategy on like all your party members just down. You know when to switch them out to do certain things. Just felt really good. Yeah, this game was awesome. I highly, highly recommend to anyone who has been curious about it because I absolutely loved it. It was definitely longer than I thought it was. I was like, it's gonna be like, barely 20 hours, no problem. It's like 30 hours. So it is a beefy game, but super worth it and really, really amazing. I loved it.
So you're on to Spider-Man now.
I'm on to Spider-Man.
Okay. Tonight?
I'm starting tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm ready. So excited.
That's great. Yeah, that's neither of us have played that, but I guess we'll be getting to it maybe sooner than we thought, because that's what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
Are you just off of Baldur's Gate?
I think I might be on a Baldur's Gate. It's so hard to go back to it now because now I'm like inundated.
My long-term prediction was so right.
I didn't play it though.
You should not have played that before you went on this trip.
It's so hard to go.
Now you've fallen off.
Let me.
When are we playing Dungeons and Dragons? Never. Thanks a lot. Have you read those books I gave you? No.
I have read the books. It was
really?
One book.
You read those?
I read the one book.
Okay. Well, that's a
start.
start.
I watched the videos that you sent me.
Oh, good.
So I did
my homework. Potentially back on.
Yeah, that's separate from playing Baldur's Gate. Playing Dungeons and Dragons is different.
Is it?
Yes.
All right. Fine. There was one other game that I played in between finishing Baldur's Gate and starting Mario, which is called Gravity Circuit.
Ooh.
I was just like, I need kind of a short little indie game that I can fit in and not get, not this giant thing that again I have to leave behind once I start playing all this other stuff. So this is a game that is well described by our friend Bob Wolf of Wolf Den as Mega Man with punching.
Oh,
which I think is
right up your alley.
I think is a very good description. I had this on my Steam wish list for a long time, and I eventually ended up buying it on Switch, which is funny. But it's a retro-themed, kind of Mega Man-styled 2D action platformer game where you play this little robot guy. Mm-hmm. And it's like Mega Man. You've got like 8 bosses that you can do in whatever order. Some differences, though. Instead of the shooting, you're punching and doing kind of more melee attacks.
Can you shoot, though?
You have a grappling hook.
Aha.
Like Mario, you have a grappling hook.
Okay.
The grappling hook is not meant... It's meant to be more about traversal than attacking, but you can use it as a very weak...
Like pushing away kind of thing?
Ranged attack. Something else that's different, in Mega Man, you beat the boss, you get the power. You don't do that here. So basically, you are buying, again, kind of like badges in Mario. There's a lot of badges that you can buy that do all sorts of different things. There's other special attacks that you can buy. So you're kind of customizing your guy the way you want as you go. The game has a good, retro look, a really good retro soundtrack. The levels, I'd say, are very close to feeling like proper Mega Man levels. So I like this game a lot. I definitely recommend it. It wasn't too long. Definitely scratched the itch. And yeah, if you like Mega Man, I think this is a must play.
All right.
I have one more game on this list that is...
Is it Halloween themed?
Well, this is actually a recommendation. It's not something I'm going to be playing. It's something I played years ago. But if anybody is looking for a good Halloween game that is very short, and we're getting close by the time this podcast comes out, you can definitely beat this game.
Yeah.
It's called Costume Quest. Right. It is from Double Fine, so it's on all the Game Pass. Any iteration of Game Pass, it is on there.
I have not played this game.
You might love this game. Really? It's a very cute,
cute.
like JRPG styled game where like you're these little kids who get dressed up and you run into people and then you do these like battles, but it's like the kid who's a robot in battle, he becomes this giant like Gundam thing.
That's awesome.
And it's just got a lot of charm. It's got great Halloween vibes. And again, it's extremely short. It's like 3 hours or something.
Oh.
So you might.
Maybe I should play this game
check
today
it out
before Spider-Man.
I think they did a Costume Quest 2 that I never played that. I think they even this was really strange. They did like a Costume Quest TV show that I don't think anybody watched.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh no.
But again, this is, if anybody's looking for that Halloween game.
Vibes.
At Nintendo, I tried.
You really did.
I tried to start this thing where it's like, hey, we have Luigi's Mansion 3. This is one of our great, quote, evergreen games. Let's do a campaign where we get people to play, urge people to replay. Like you're watching like the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Everybody watches that before Thanksgiving to get in the mood.
Christmas.
To get in the mood.
Halloween.
Right. And I said, I made this whole thing. Let's have a campaign where all of our marketing teams are working to urge people to replay every Halloween Luigi's Mansion 3. Make it a staple of Halloween. And people are like, no.
No, that's a stupid idea.
It's a lame idea. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. It's like, come on. What's wrong? And I've seen nobody talking about that game now. Yeah, it's a great game to replay.
The remake is coming out next year, unfortunately. It's like next March.
Come on.
It's not even Halloween. I know, it's too bad. It really is too bad.
Lame.
I know. I would... Yeah, Luigi Mansion's a little too long at this point, but... I'm too far.
Yeah,
I don't have enough time.
It's too late for you at this point.
Too late. Yeah.
Well, maybe if somebody had reminded you starting October 1st so that you should replay this game, maybe you would have and had a great time.
So.
Maybe,
yeah,
just maybe.
Just maybe.
After all that, we have a Nintendo story time.
Whew! Are you guys still settled in here?
I was not joking about this being a long episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay.
The theme, I don't know how we arrived on this theme, but the theme of this story time, you have one and I have one, is pulling all-nighters.
Yeah.
Which is something I don't like to do in life. I feel like if you're pulling an all-nighter, somebody screwed up. You shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. You might have screwed up yourself.
Yeah.
Which could be very possible.
Or somebody did something like bad to you and put you in a bad position.
Unless you're pulling a gaming all-nighter, in which case that's
different.
very fun.
That's different.
And you should definitely do that.
These are work all-nighters.
Work-related all-nighters. Yeah.
Right.
And that's definitely not fun. Yeah. So we have 2 stories. I will go first.
Good.
And tell you about a time where I had to pull an all-nighter at the Nintendo New York office. This is when we had a New York office.
Not the New York store, but the New York office.
The New York office.
Right.
So this was on the night before we were doing a really big launch event for Animal Crossing
Always
City
a launch
Folk.
event.
Animal Crossing City Folk. Yeah, so always a launch event. That's been the bane of my existence. But this game in particular was really tough to do a launch event for. And the whole launch event was hinged around this idea of like, we will have all of these different sort of experts that would do things that you would do in City Folk in real life. So in City Folk, if you guys remember that game, you basically could take a train into the city, and then there was all those little shops that you can go to. Like there was like a fancy furniture store. There was this like Gracie's fashion boutique, like a very stylish store, et cetera, et cetera. So our idea for this event was we would hire these experts. So we had like a stylist that would literally, if you like go to the stylist, they would tell you like, here's an outfit that would look good on your body type. We had a feng shui expert that was there to like help you, like if you showed them a picture of your house, they're like, oh, move this here so you have better like chi flow or whatever. And then, of course, people could play the game, and there was other like there was like a live painting demonstration.
Wow,
it was a really
so
cool,
highbrow.
There's actually a painting right there. I'm looking at it right now.
Like, is there a spider or something? You're like pointing off in the corner. Oh, this one.
That painting. We'll take a picture of it later to show you guys.
Oh, that's where that came from.
That's where that came from.
I like that one.
It's very like artistic and different than a normal piece of artwork from Nintendo. So, anyways, this event was really cool, and we had invited all of these like sort of more non-gaming media, so like at the time blogging was very popular.
Mommy bloggers.
We had some mommy bloggers, yes. We had like fashion people. It was like a very sort of classy New York event at this like beautiful loft.
Where's the caviar?
Exactly. I think it was like a brunch actually. So it was like mimosas and like whatever.
Wow.
Very fancy, very cute. And we were, it was a very, very classy event. The night before, though, we realized that the games that we got for the event were retail versions of the game. So they were just the versions that you get out of the box when you bought the game. They were not like the debug versions where you go in and do whatever you want and set the game up.
So you had an hour of tutorials ahead of you.
Not only that, so we had I think it was 20 game stations that we had to set up with 20 games that were not even unwrapped from the box. So no one's played these games. So we had to, you guys know what the beginning of an Animal Crossing game is like, okay? You start with nothing. So we basically like had 3 people setting up 20 Animal Crossing games to the point where you could do something, like go into the city and do the things that we were like bringing to life at the event. Having enough bells to buy items because someone's going to want to experience that at the event.
Right.
And that took forever.
How did this not get addressed beforehand?
I was not the lead on this game.
This is a real rookie mistake.
I was not the lead on this game. The person that was the PR manager, I was only like a coordinator.
This is before I even joined, so
maybe I was like an assistant.
I couldn't be there to save the day.
No, you were not there.
Ask the question. Do you have adequate save data?
Why do you sound like a flower? Why do you sound like
I'm just going to use that voice now. I'm a wonder flower.
Well, that sounds. Yeah, the PR manager had a major oversight here. I'm going to blame this person.
Is this the same PR manager with the vomiting last week?
No.
Okay.
Different PR
manager. I got to try and put the pieces together.
No, different PR manager, but definitely had like a whoopsie moment.
Yes.
By not asking for...
And they made you do this.
They made me do it.
Did this person stay with you?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's
yes, they did. Yeah, so we sat in a conference room.
Who was the third person?
There was one more person in the New York office that was also on our team. I think you remember this, what I'm talking about? Yeah. they also they didn't stay the whole time, but they stayed for part of the time. So the two people that pulled the all-nighter was me and the PR manager on this game. That person left around like 11 p.m. So
what time did you start?
4 p.m. And yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. It was like we could not sleep. We were just playing Animal Crossing all night.
And the event was the next morning?
The event was brunch, 11 a.m. Got set up at 10 at the very latest. And it was really, really bad. And at the time, there was a great person that was leading sort of the head of the New York office.
Yeah.
Who since has moved back
Very nice Japanese man.
Very nice Japanese man. Moved back to Japan, I believe. But was very sweet. And he was just so worried about us pulling this all-nighter in this office. He like got us dinner.
I mean, being in the office at 3 a.m. is just a day that ends in Y for him. Like, he's always doing that.
He did do it. He did stay for like a big chunk of the night. He like got us dinner and stuff.
Was he grinding bells with you?
No, but he kept checking in. He's like, "Are you guys doing okay? Do you guys need anything?" I felt that was like really sweet.
Pick up a Wiimote, buddy.
I was like, "Do something!" I was getting like cranky. No, but like it was really cute that he was very concerned, and the lights were like I was like it was bad.
Yeah.
It was like
the janitor comes in.
Yeah, the janitors the couple times, the morning and the night janitor had come in. There's another guy that also moved to our Japan office after the New York office closed.
Oh, yeah.
I know you know who this person is too. Worked
also a regular in there at 4 a.m.
And that person just like regularly would sleep in the office. So like at 5 a.m. when I like came out of the conference room like blurry-eyed and like
he like emerges from under a desk or something.
He emerged from like the couch. He like poked his head up. He's like, "Good morning." I was like, "Oh my God, you're still here." Hello. Konnichiwa.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
I was like, "What? Why are you here?" I'm like, maybe you should like go home and shower. I don't know. Yeah, but we stayed up pretty much all night long to do this. It obviously worked out fine. I went back to the hotel and like took a shower and got myself pulled together.
No sleep.
0 sleep. The event did not end that late, so I was able to go to sleep like pretty early that night. So that was okay. But it was pretty bad. Man. It was pretty bad.
That's awful.
It was awful. It was pretty bad.
See, this is exactly what I was saying. If somebody messed up if you're pulling this all night.
I have 2 more all-nighter stories.
Was there an apology issued? No. Was there a shout-out in some big meeting? Like,
no.
Krysta really saved the day?
No.
What's the deal?
It's just your expectation. The expectation of you is that you're going to do anything in your power.
Get into this vomit costume, pull an all-nighter.
I did not go into the vomit costume, to be clear. But there is an expectation at Nintendo, and I think you know this very well too, is like you would do whatever it takes to make it work. And most of the time, I'm happy to do it. Like, honestly, when I was pulling the all-nighter, I was like, I'm happy to do this.
Would have been happy to do it.
But afterwards, I'm like, hey, that was messed up.
I got suckered.
Yeah, don't get suckered.
I like how from the story from last week, people were looking at those pictures like, those pictures aren't even that good. They're like, there was all of this like disgustingness and like trauma for this.
Worth it.
It was for this.
No one remembers this Animal Crossing event.
No
one does.
Nobody
those people
cares.
that have
Nobody
blogs,
knows.
Their blogs
They're
are
long gone.
They're long gone. Long gone.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, yes, there was that one instance, but I have 2 more other really bad stories about all-nighters that we'll share.
Are you telling those now too?
No.
Oh.
We're going to share those another time.
I don't think I know.
I'm just telling you that my all-nighter stories transcend this one incident.
So these are all Nintendo all-nighters.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Right? Nintendo, you owe me some sleep. Your girl needs sleep.
I don't think I know those stories, so I'll look forward to those.
And one of them you were very involved in. So.
Oh, okay. Funny how that works out. Mine is not as in-depth as yours, but on occasion, and this happened more during the pandemic when everybody was just at home, was we would have an all regions meeting to talk about
global regions.
Yes. So it was typically US, Japan, and Europe. And sometimes Australia would be involved. Sometimes not. Sometimes like, we're okay. I think I always gave them like the courtesy of like,
do you want to
if you're available, please come. If not, we're gonna keep moving.
Yeah, but it might be a weird time for you.
It's like somebody will fill you in. You get the notes later.
Ew.
And every time we did that, somebody would have to pull the short straw, because at one place it was pretty early morning, one place it was afternoon, and one place it was like the middle of the night.
Right.
And there's something about like people it's like a rush to martyrdom. It's like, oh, please, we'll take the worst slot. Yes, we would love to do that.
We volunteer as tribute.
It's like, what?
No, we won't volunteer as tribute.
For some reason,
actually.
like Nintendo of America, like somebody would always be like, oh, we'd love to join at 1 a.m. Yes, for this like hardcore meeting that's going to go for like 3 hours. Like, no, I don't want to do this. Why are you doing this? What is that mentality? The rush to martyrdom.
That is that mentality.
Are you trying to like show off, or like?
It's just like, we're so flexible. We're the best region because it's like there's a lot of region competition at Nintendo, like more than you would think. Like, we all got along with the other regions, but the leadership team, like, they were always competing.
But this is like such a misread where it's like, nobody is like, oh yes, Nintendo of America, they did that.
That one time they did a late meeting.
Bonuses for them. It's like, no. Nobody would remember.
But it's like, everyone wanted to like get on the good side of NCL. So it's like, oh, what can we do to like ingratiate ourselves?
I wanted to get on the good side of my pillow and get some sleep. So yeah, it's like, but again, there is no good solution. Like, if you're doing it that way and those are the regions, somebody's going to get screwed up. It's how Nintendo Directs. Like, a Nintendo Direct is always happening at a weird time
for somebody.
For somebody.
Usually Europe.
And Nintendo of America is big enough where, 6 a.m., it's 9 a.m. if you're on the East Coast. Like, that's a, quote, good time.
Yeah.
But, I did
We've been lucky for the last couple of Directs.
Many a meeting that was start at 1 a.m. and go until, like, 3 or something.
4 sometimes.
And let me tell you, by an hour or two into those meetings, like, you start to really like get brain drained and tired.
Do you take naps before those?
No, I don't.
You don't know.
I don't take naps. Period. Ever.
You wouldn't like go to bed at 8 and wake up at like midnight to do the meeting. No.
Okay. I would not do that. And it's not a great environment for doing a big important meeting.
Yeah. You need your brain to be functioning.
And the thing that always happens in those meetings that constantly drives me crazy, but especially drives me crazy in this, is you get to the end of the meeting and it'd be like, well, we covered all the topics that we have. We're ready to wrap up the meeting. And it's like a 3 Mississippi, and then somebody's like, I would like to jump in with an additional topic. And I'm just like ready to claw my eyes out at this point, because it's like, it's 4 a.m. I've been doing this nonsense forever. I'm trying to get a couple hours of sleep before I got to get up to do this work again. But no, we have to tack on all these other topics.
It's like that's another mentality of bad corporate behavior. It's like if you don't say, it's like that thing that people say, like when you're at the end of a job interview and they ask you if you don't have any questions, you have to have any questions. Bad luck. So it's like when you get to the end of these big strategic meetings, if you don't have anything else, somehow people think it's bad luck. It's not, but somehow people think it is. And then you're stuck doing another like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's bad. You
just got to be the first person to hit eject on the Zoom meeting. You're like, oh, well, I didn't hear the question. I've gone to sleep. Sorry. Like nobody would have been mad at that.
Yeah, because it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
He said the meeting was over, so I left. I was tired. It was 4 a.m. Sorry.
Did you do that?
No. I should have.
You sat through that additional topic?
I don't work there anymore. No, I can't do it.
I'm going to set a 4
We're not having meetings at 4 a.m.
No, we're not. Oh, that's so rough. You did it a couple times.
We had to do it a couple times.
That was pretty bad for you.
It was not fun.
I was not invited to those meetings, thank God.
Yeah.
But that was pretty bad for you.
There were also, like, some departments, like, so we would have a weekly meeting with different teams. We had a Europe meeting that was at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we had a Japan meeting
and we had a Japan, it's like 4:30 or 5:30 depending on the daylight savings.
Sometimes it would be long, sometimes it would be really short.
But there were times where there were some departments that are like, well, I just have a standing meeting every week that's at like 9 p.m. because that was the convenient time for my Japanese counterpoint.
There was that one time period where me and this other person.
You had a meeting that was bad.
I was working on mobile games at the time for like influencer stuff for mobile games.
Yeah.
And we had a 6 to 8 p.m. meeting every single week for like 8 months.
Nope.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
And you were like barely on the agenda even. But it was like, well, you can just sit through for the,
They forced me.
For the 3 minutes you actually have something to say.
They would force me.
Awful.
And then sometimes it would be 2 meetings a week. It'd be like 6 to 8 was like the big meeting with everybody where I had the 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, no, we need a separate meeting with you to go into detail on all your stuff. So let's do another hour.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. That was like during the pandemic. It was really bad. Really bad. It drained me so much. And then like I would eat dinner at like weird times, and oh my gosh, it was terrible.
But yeah, like people would have just like these weekly meetings where it's like your whole day is just blown up because of this weird meeting time.
Yeah.
It's like awful.
Yeah. The global meeting schedule is a lot tougher than you think.
Yeah.
It really can be quite draining.
Terrible.
But anyways, no one's pulling an all-nighter now unless we're playing Mario Wonder.
Nope.
On
the news.
Yes. On to the news.
Got quite a few things here too. So this was fresh as of this morning. Sony has put out some sales numbers for Spider-Man 2. They're quite good. I'll read the tweet. Great news, Spidey fans. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 PS5 has sold more than 2.5 million copies in the first 24 hours. Thanks for making this a high-flying launch. So they also have down below, it says it's the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game in PlayStation history.
Wow. That's
Yeah, the 2.5 I don't have off the top of my head, like, what else?
Yeah,
other things sold?
like, there's other time periods. It's like God of War was like 5 million, but in like 3 days.
Yeah, you can always slice these numbers to find something that's advantageous for you. But the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game, that's notable. I mean,
it's very notable.
A lot of their games have been M-rated, so this probably helps that this is not an M-rated game.
Oh, good point.
Just to give you a bit more of a bigger
audience. Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't super surprised. I expect this to be just a massive, sales juggernaut because everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Everybody, even I hate spiders. I love Spider-Man.
We are one of the 2.5 people that bought the game.
I haven't bought it yet.
Oh, I bought it.
Oh.
So I'm one of the 2.5 people that bought this game.
I haven't bought it.
Woohoo!
The
contributions.
There have not been there's not been an announcement for Mario yet. And
I'm sure.
And I wonder if
juggernaut.
there will be. You what?
I think it's going to be a juggernaut of huge
But do you think
numbers.
there will be an announcement?
Oh.
Momentum release?
Momentum release could be.
I think you definitely could because you have. So the reason that these often don't happen is because like you're caught up. You're competing yourself to something else that did very good.
Right.
But in this case, like
there's nothing around.
If you're talking about 2D Mario games, like it's like maybe in the 80s and 90s you sold a lot, but like New Super Mario Bros. U was a launch game, so that's not going to be a fast seller.
Right. So you probably have a pretty clear runway.
I'm pretty sure that they broke something that they could talk about.
Yeah.
But sometimes they have reasons not to do it, so
yeah. I wonder if they would
get the
do
numbers
it.
at some point.
I wonder if they would do it though, because you are getting closer and closer to like the hot holiday shopping, Black Friday.
You need to induce FOMO.
You gotta induce FOMO to buy.
Yes.
So that could happen. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the game did for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next, so Nintendo did have a launch event for Mario Wonder, and kind of like they did for Tears of the Kingdom, Doug Bowser was at that and did some interviews, which are interesting because he seems to get asked about everything but the game he's there to promote.
Yeah.
So he did this
Poor Doug.
interview with, I'm not familiar with this outlet. Inverse, do you know that?
Yeah, they've been, I've seen them on Metacritic, I've read some of their stuff, but they do seem to be not your typical, like, IGNs.
Yeah. So there were a couple things from this that got out that are honestly nothing comments, but he got asked about the Switch successor, and it was just kind of like a hodgepodge of things that he was asked.
Seemed nervous.
And then the first sentence in the response was, well, first, I can't comment, or I won't comment, I should say, on the rumors that are out there.
Oh boy.
So it was just
nervous, nerves
and downhill from there. I mean, the thing is, like, if you're paying attention to what Mr. Furukawa is saying and the things that get said in those financial meetings. You don't need to pay attention to a Doug Bowser interview.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we both love Doug, but he is just not authorized to share new information. Like, his job for these interviews is to get up to speed on everything that has been said publicly and just be kind of like an aggregator of that information.
A megaphone for that, for the
Absolutely.
U.S. market.
Like, anything that's getting into new territory, that's where you can see him getting nervous of like, whoa, this is the off-limit stuff. I can't talk about this.
Yeah,
so
this is the thing on the Q&A that they highlight in yellow. That's like, if you get asked this question, here's like the very stock answer. But even if he has the stock answer, you can tell that he's a bit nervous.
So the Nintendo account was the one thing that Mr. Furukawa had talked about before. So that was the one thing that he could say there.
Right.
But it's just funny that he does so few interviews that when he gets out there, there's just this buildup of topics that people want to ask him about that have nothing to do with Mario Wonder or Zelda or anything else.
This keeps compounding.
Right.
Because then he gets nervous, and then when Japan sees this kind of
headlines,
and these kinds
especially
of
this next headline,
they don't like it. And so they try to trap him again. They try to like lock him away.
Right.
And then the next thing he does is it kind of, the cycle repeats itself. So it's not great. I think it kind of is unfair to Doug, honestly, to put him in this kind of position. So
the next topic he got asked was about unions.
This one.
And
then the headline.
Well, the headlines got a little bit out of control. So the headline, I think I pulled this from Game Developer, was Doug Bowser says Nintendo of America is too happy to unionize. Bowser believes Nintendo of America has done such a good job of being inclusive and securing proper work-life balance that a union is not needed right now.
Oh, boy.
Have you read the full interview response?
I have read the full interview, yes.
Like, he does kind of... I think this headline is a little bit...
It's sensationalized.
Out of control, but...
And he makes points that are actually factual. The points that he makes is like, in terms of what is proving what he's saying about people at Nintendo being happy or workers being satisfied, employees being satisfied, is that there is a long tenure for Nintendo employees. That's fact.
That's very true.
That's very true. There's a very low turnover rate and a very high tenure for Nintendo employees. The other thing he mentions is that they do this yearly company survey. That is also true, where they do ask the employees like a number of things, and they do take that survey very seriously. And we contributed to many of those surveys throughout our tenure at Nintendo. So they are asking employees how they are feeling. Those are all facts. The thing about the unions, I actually really like what Reggie said about this when we talked to him, which is like unions, they play an important role of like filling this gap.
Yeah.
Like if there is a gap that's needed that's not being addressed by...
Or met,
then that's where they can come in.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are gaps that, would benefit from this. I don't know if those are big enough yet to become something, but like no company is perfect. Nintendo of America certainly is not perfect. But, unless there's a big enough gap that's identified, like it does make sense that there's nothing right now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when we were there, that's when the whole unions and gaming topic was coming up. It was not really on a lot of people's radar. It definitely was not on like the leadership's radar.
Right.
I'm sure it is now, though.
Sure.
How they would respond. I mean, he did end the interview with kind of the legal mandated statement of like, everybody has a right to unionize.
Yes.
We're not union busting out here.
No, you can't do that.
It would be interesting to see what would happen if there was some move for employees to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is one where it's just like, I don't know. Again, I agree. Like, if he doesn't have anything new to say, and he gets asked these hard questions, what is the value of putting him out there to do it?
Right. And he's not really able to give like definitive answers that really shuts down these questions either.
And you just get these weird headlines like this.
And then you get these headlines, exactly. So it's tough for him. I recognize that he's put in a bad spot.
And he is down to do this sort of thing. Like he's like, yes, I will gladly do this if you think this would help the cause. So it's not like he is, being pulled out against his will to do this interview, but it may be time to question
what the actual
what is our actual
is.
strategy and what are we actually getting results wise
exactly
from these interviews.
These headlines have nothing to do with Mario Wonder. They have nothing to do with what they're trying to do right now this holiday, which is to
And he's
sell Nintendo Switch and
he's
sell
definitely
this game.
getting an email from somebody in Japan when they see this headline.
He's getting yelled at, and it's
Which
not
stinks.
great. And I feel bad for him.
That is the worst position to be
Yeah,
in.
it is so
Where it's
bad.
like, I was literally following the approved statements, and I don't control what the headline is.
Yeah,
and
editorial.
yet, you know,
he's gonna get
somebody's
an
mad.
email about this. Yeah. Oh.
I wanted to send them an email about this. Nintendo has removed the original Switch reveal trailer from YouTube.
Yes. Those pesky rights. Buy the rights, Nintendo.
Just buy the rights.
Goodness sakes. Pay them so you can use the trailer in perpetuity, so you don't have to remove. What a silly thing to remove. A piece of your history, you know, that's just silly.
Yeah, this was annoying to me now that Nintendo has its official museum. You would think maybe they have a different mindset on preservation of these important moments in gaming. And I think this shows kind of a gulf in how they're looking at it, where the product is the story. These kind of ancillary things like, no, we will never talk about any marketing that we ever did. That's just like, that is so like outside the boundaries of how we are looking at this. Like, let that go. We don't care. That's the past.
That is such a
which is a
short-sighted
misread of how the public views it.
And how can you have a true preservation of a product's history without the context?
Right.
That's something that we learned so much from Frank at the Video Game Foundation.
Very good point.
And it's such a important point. Like when you show a Nintendo Switch to somebody in like 200 years, and they don't have any context around them about the launch and what it meant and what came before it and why people were excited and what happened in that time, in that moment in time, and you just put the hardware in their hand, it's going to mean nothing. It's going to mean absolutely nothing to them. So having this kind of attitude towards, the things that are so important surrounding your actual product is really, frankly, stupid. And I think it's going to come back to hurt them later on. They don't care, but it's very stupid.
Your history is not like what is convenient for you to have out there and save. Like, yeah, it probably costs more money to renew whatever rights you need for this.
You have money.
Just do it.
You just
pay the money.
So much money. Billions of dollars.
And I've seen people saying like, well, who cares? It's on the IGN page and it'll always be on the IGN page. But it's like, if the company that is the creator of this doesn't even care, that tells you a lot about how they feel about this new initiative that I think a lot of us have very high hopes for and could be this big new thing in the industry that also needs to do more in terms of preservation. So it's just a bummer.
It's really a bummer that they haven't changed their way, the way that they're perceiving this.
Yeah. Lastly,
oh boy, Phil
Spencer was out there. So since Major Nelson left, they took a few weeks off of the official Xbox podcast, and then they relaunched that with our good friend Jeff Rubenstein kind of at the helm of that.
Yeah,
and it seems to have been going great. And hey, imagine this. An official podcast where you can have your leadership come on and share news and talk about important topics that your community cares about. That sounds like a terrible project we should totally shut down.
And did.
Gosh. Clearly this is doing no good at all. But yeah, he came on to talk about a variety of things pertaining to the Activision merger. And there are a couple important points from that. So they talked about Call of Duty. And then he was saying about how all the versions of Call of Duty going forward are going to be all the same. So it's like, we are not going to nerf the other versions to get you to buy an Xbox or to buy that version of the game. So I think that's
100% parity.
It's like other things that we've done, like beta exclusives on a platform. It's like, sounds like he just wants to get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea and something you can do now that you own it on every platform is just, make this for the people and make all the content available for everybody. So that sounds like a good idea.
Simplifying everything is a good idea. Just keep it simple and make it the same.
Because it does seem like it had yo-yoed where it was like, oh, well, 1 year PlayStation has the marketing exclusive, so they get all this stuff, and then now it's back to Microsoft, and like I don't play a lot of Call of Duty, but I can imagine like what I need to, which one am I paying attention to?
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
Right, exactly. It's too much for me to follow.
Yeah.
So.
And now you do have this, they're committed to doing Nintendo versions, whether that's, is it going to be on the Switch or the next thing?
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting to see.
And if they can keep the parity for all of the platforms.
Right. Is that going to be a hard thing for them to do?
Right. But if they can pull it off, that's a massive, audience that they can tap into. So.
Yeah. He talked about all of the new IP that they now have, and it sounds like he is excited about all the possibilities that are on the table. So, he kind of wants to get input from the teams of who wants to work on what. And he was saying some interesting things of, if an Xbox developer wants to work on a legacy Activision property, that could be on the table, or vice versa. If an Activision team was like, hey, you have this old Xbox property that we might, he's saying the right things. We'll see what the implementation is.
Right.
And
hopefully they have now that quality process in place to make sure everything is going to meet a certain level, so we don't have some of these quality dips we've seen with some of the new studios or integrating some of these studios. That's important as well.
I think that the downside to that is there's so many IPs that how do you pick? And I'm sure somebody has some interest in all of them at some level.
Yeah, so you're a fan,
It's like you can't just get the shiny new object syndrome and be like, oh, wow, we have Pitfall. Let's make a Pitfall game. That'll be cool. You kind of do need to have somebody be like,
strategically tell you.
Let's rein this in and focus on what's going to make the biggest impact. Right. Though. And then finally, we mentioned this last week, but talking about when Activision games are coming to Game Pass. Now, he was pretty open about saying there were some conversations that they just couldn't have while all of the regulatory stuff was going through. So they do have some work to do, but it sounds like that's going to be coming in 2024. And he talked about some specific games like Call of Duty and Diablo 4 that, sounds like those are locks to eventually come once they get it all figured out.
Nice.
So I think that sounds good to have, one more kind of proper holiday season. They still have a new Call of Duty to get out, and then if they can start rolling those out in early 2024 and have, a really good roadmap of that, then that sounds cool.
Yeah. Sounds like a great way to kick off the new year, so.
Yeah. That is the news. Let's get into some of our questions from our Patreon community. First is from, people are doing these Halloween themed names.
I love these names.
Throw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
This is from Spook Obscura. The question is, how do you feel about rumors and speculation? Do you find it more fun or frustrating? Are there times when it is acceptable? Are there times when it's exhausting? Did your opinions on this change once you were no longer working at Nintendo?
I think we're pretty good about dealing with rumors and speculation. We have a really good radar for when rumors are just pure nonsense and people looking for clicks or trying to get views on their stuff. But we also have a pretty good sense when this one seems like it's going to become something.
Right.
Where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation. And we've honed those because we worked at Nintendo and we've seen it in the inverse, right? And so they don't really bother me because I'm very quickly able to say don't pay attention to that one. That's pure nonsense. This one I'm going to watch because it could become something. So I'm not frustrated by it. I think that at times they are acceptable to kind of give you just a little sneak into what could be happening and just get your mind thinking in that direction. I think there is some value to that. But yeah, I think you and I are very equipped to dealing with these in a unique kind of way. So
yeah, I think we're very careful about the rumors we talk about on this podcast because they're not always true, and people can get hung up on some of these rumors that aren't true, but they want to be true. So, we dealt with that when it was Switch Pro nonstop, where people just talked themselves in. There was so much conversation of oh yeah, that sounds good. And then all of a sudden it's that's happening. And obviously it didn't happen. And people were disappointed by this thing that Nintendo never talked about, never existed. So I think that's where I get frustrated, where it's let's let's not talk ourselves so far down this that we are disappointed if it doesn't happen, because we don't know for sure. I think as long as you are keeping them at the proper arm's length of like, if this is true, then here's what it means.
Yeah, we're not here to like rile you guys up.
I mean, there are channels out there. It's like that's all they do. It's just like rumor.
Yeah,
we're gonna spin you up.
I'm not a spin you up kind of person.
Yeah.
Like I would never do that to. I don't think we would ever do that to our audience.
Right.
Like we would only talk about a rumor if we truly believe like there's maybe something to it. Maybe not, but from our perspective, there could be something to this. So let's pay a little bit attention to it. You know, talk about it a little bit.
Kai Exorcist asks, again, Krysta, how big of an impact do game crashes have on your overall opinion of a game? Kit mentioned his final cutscene crash in Baldur's Gate 3, which would have immediately disqualified the game from winning GOTY for me. How does this affect the way you compare the game to, say, Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, how does it compare?
The thing where it gets to be a bit of a bummer is, like, you are focusing less on your game experience, and just, like, part of you is like, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, when the game is very shaky. So, again, I only started to run into that later in the game. I did see some other people saying, like, oh, yeah, later in the game, that tends to happen more.
Because of those save files.
Right. Yeah, it can weigh you down. And if it happens enough, then I'm just going to stop playing.
Right.
So
you only got one crash, and it was that end game.
I had gotten like one or two leading up to that point, but it wasn't so frequent. And I was like, oh, this is a problem. It was like, that's strange. So I never reached the point of like
frustration,
really being worried until I got to that last one, and finally I got through it, and the game was over. But
does it disqualify it from winning Game of the Year for you because of that?
No. It did impact my perception of the ending, because again, I had different things happen in the ending I saw through and the ending I saw that got cut short.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a game that just like crashes nonstop, I'm just gonna stop.
Right. Yeah, I agreed. If a game is like unplayable to the point where it's like crashing all the time,
I won't put up with that.
I wouldn't play it. But if it's like one or two times. That certainly happened to everybody, and you're far along enough in the game. Like I definitely would give it another chance, you know. But yeah, there's something to the Nintendo first-party games that are like tight.
Yeah,
they do not crash. They function really well.
It's true.
That is something that maybe sometimes we take for granted, but yeah.
Freelio asks, what were Halloween office pranks at Nintendo like? Has anyone ever dared to scare Reggie on Halloween?
I don't think it's possible to scare Reggie. He doesn't scare easy.
No.
He's not like someone that's like, you can jump scare. But I'm sure it's very festive in the office for Halloween. We would decorate our office. There was always like, trick-or-treating with kids.
Later on, we would do like department costume contests.
What was that one year where we're all like breakfast items?
Our department never did very well. It may have been because we were constantly busy doing 4 a.m. meetings and playing up Animal Crossing.
It was Shocktober.
Yes!
So we were busy.
There was the one that we shared of the RIP Xbox.
Oh yeah, that was bad. That was funny, but not for anyone outside of Nintendo.
No, that could have been bad. One year for Halloween, I was in Redmond, and normally the treehouse is off limits. Like, you can't get in there. But because it was Halloween, and I think, they do the same thing up there where it's like, oh, yeah, bring your family and do this, like, office trick-or-treat. Like, I actually got to go in there because it was just, like, open.
Did they change it to a haunted house?
They had some theming in there. Yeah. So, yeah, I think they did a good job of, trying to acknowledge that and do stuff that was fun for it.
Did Reggie ever dress up for Halloween? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
I don't think he did. I don't think he ever dressed up. But one time he put on the me head.
He liked that me head a lot.
He liked that me head a lot. But that was just like in his office. So he didn't mind it. I don't think. Maybe he'll wear like a Mario hat or something like that. But he never he's always dressed like a suit or something. So I don't think he ever like dressed up.
There were some days, this is not Halloween. There was a trend in Redmond. This is when the Seattle Seahawks were very good.
Oh, and they wore jerseys?
They would wear jerseys, and he did that too. he would
12th
wear
man.
he would wear not a 12th man jersey, but he would wear like a Marshawn Lynch like beast mode jersey or something. If people get that, understand who that is. I was like, Reggie's from New York. I need to
Bronx.
I need to ask about this. Like, where's the New York Giants or like the Jets or something? What?
He's trying to.
You're trying.
It's like a morale thing. Company morale.
Yes, but there has to be a line that
Company
you
morale.
cannot cross with these fandoms.
Come on now.
Fine.
Company morale.
Fine.
I'll give him a pass for that.
Ghoultooth asks, Hi Kit and Krysta, when it comes to the price of the Switch 2, do you think the currently extreme global exchange rates will have any impact in Nintendo's thinking on the price in order to combat mass scalping and exporting from some markets? For example, right now the value of this Japanese yen is about 150 to $1. That means that while the cost of the Switch OLED in the US is $350, if someone bought it in Japan at MSRP, it would be only the equivalent of $250. This is a big brain question from Ghoultooth, aka Gartooth. So normally, I always just assume it's like 100 yen to $1. Like it's often give or take.
The dollar's real strong right now.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
And we have seen like some financial reports where they would blame the exchange rates on like the decreased profit.
Right. So I think the question of like people importing it at a discount, I don't think that's something they're super worried about because like how many people are going to go to the trouble of doing that? And
maybe a lot more now that it's that much cheaper.
Maybe, but I do think they're trying to project like this is the exchange rate today, like what's it going to be in a year? Like do we try and get ahead of some change so that
and price it.
If it levels out,
we're okay.
Because we don't want to do price changes. Those are disruptive, those are confusing. People don't like those. Like pick the right price now. And that could be hard.
Yeah.
Economist Krysta, what do we do?
I don't honestly, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they would project. I think you're right. They would project it because they do pay a lot of attention to this, and this does account for like vast dips and rises in like the financial reports.
Yeah,
like, we've seen that.
Especially when you talk about it changing like 50%.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
I think you're right. Like they're not launching this like tomorrow, so that exchange rate might be different in 8 months, whatever it is, 6 to 8 months. So they may have to do some calculated guesswork.
Better be right though.
I'm gonna be wrong.
There are some countries that have their currency pegged to the dollar. So like you were just in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong dollar is perpetually pegged.
That's
true. It was like 8 Hong Kong dollars, 7 to 1 US dollar.
Yes.
That does, certain countries have reasons to do that or not.
Yeah.
Japan doesn't.
With the exchange rates, don't you think?
Who's the poor person who has to tell, like, yes, this is definitely what the exchange rate would be in 1 year, 5 years from now?
Yeah, talk to some economist.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Gotta talk. You do have to talk to an economist.
I need to call the World Bank and.
Who do you talk to?
Hey, buddy.
Who do you call?
Give me some
Not
inside
a Ghostbuster,
info.
Somebody else. A money buster.
An economist. The Natrix asks, excuse me. Hi, Kit and Krysta. Mario has starred in so many genres of games, from his most notable 2D and 3D platformers to JRPGs, racing games, numerous sports games, and even an art creation game like Mario Paint. What genre or type of game would you like to see Mario appear in that he hasn't yet, or one that you would like to see him appear in more?
Mario has had so many jobs, but I would love to see a Mario cooking game.
Okay. What are we cooking?
It's kind of like I would love to see like an Overcooked, but for Mario characters. You don't like that, but I think it'll be super fun.
Terrible idea.
Let's cook the meat from Super Mario Party, the perfect meat. Multiplayer game. You can play as different Mushroom Kingdom characters. Maybe they have different like little skills. That would be so fun.
Okay.
Mario cooking game. That'd be great.
There is a Mario game that I have been wanting for a long time, like well over a decade.
Yes.
That we will never get.
What?
Which is American football, like we were just talking with Reggie and the Seattle Seahawks.
American, like a Madden.
American not proper football, aka soccer here.
Yes.
Not footy, not the beautiful game. American football.
Footy?
Not proper football. But
You want Madden.
no.
Mario.
So there's even a game that kind of was like a Mario football game, but didn't do well. It was so EA have NBA Street, but they also did NFL Street.
Okay.
And the fun thing that was about that, you don't look like you could care less
don't
about
care
this.
about this.
Listen to this,
Fun.
though. So in normal football, you have players who are specialized to offense and defense.
Defense, offense.
The cool thing about NFL Street was you need to draft a team of like 7 people. They have to do both. So, like, if I draft Tom Brady, you're going to have a great quarterback, but what's he going to do on defense? He's going to get run over. So that could be really fun if you have
Mario characters.
It's like, oh well,
Bowser's your
I drafted
defense.
Wario, and like he's a big strong guy, but he's slow. You know, there's so many there's actually a lot of strategic
It could
depth.
be fun, yeah.
Right. That you
Bring the Charge
and Chuck. I was gonna say Charge and Chuck is like OP
Perfect.
in Mario
Perfect.
football. Right.
You know I love a Charge and Chuck.
I know that.
It's my favorite character. One
But-
of my favorite characters.
You know, Nintendo always wants to make global games. And American football is American football for a reason because
Yeah.
the rest of the world doesn't seem to care. So this will never happen. Sadly.
Yeah. The other game that I would like to bring back is the Mario Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, really?
Game with the little power pad.
What happened to Dance Dance
That
Revolution?
game was so fun. I don't know. There's some
It's kind of fallen off.
I was way falling off, but I love that game.
the amount
That
of
was fun.
the amount of DDR games that I launched in my like year and a half at Konami would shock you.
Oh, really?
There were so many
More
DDR.
than Just Dance?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Did you dance?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I
But
wish
there
you
were
would
so
dance.
many.
Why would you
It was like
dance?
6 games in like a year and a half.
Wow.
DDR games. Like
That's
we go.
incredible.
Maybe this is why we don't make any more DDR games.
Those were fun, and they were good exercise, too.
Yeah. DDR is
I miss
extremely
it.
legit.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss it.
Last question is from Duskoob. Hello, Kit and Krysta. Excuse me. Hello, Krysta and Kit.
Me first?
Can't get
Thank
it wrong.
you.
Have you ever replayed a game you once considered to be a favorite or regarded highly, only to see that you didn't like it nearly as much on that rerun? I asked because last year I played through Fire Emblem Awakening again. Even as a near lifelong Fire Emblem fan, I liked it quite a bit and had it near my top 5 games in the series. Upon this replay, I saw major cracks in the map design that I must have forgotten, and the story was even less compelling than I'd thought, which was always one of my lower points on it. I'd be curious to hear if you had any similar stories with some games experiencing an opinion shift downwards. P.S. If your answer is Fire Emblem Awakening, maybe don't replay it.
I'm so disappointed that you didn't like Fire Emblem Awakening.
Well, when was the last time you played it?
I have not played it.
You want to prove his point?
No, I'm gonna preserve my good memories. Now I'm nervous about it. Let's see. Have there been games that I've replayed? I think, like, give me, I don't know.
You're freezing up here.
I'm freezing up. You go.
So, it's not this extreme, but I mentioned this. When I last played Mario 64, I did notice some cracks, some age being felt. It did not feel as timeless as the classic 2D Mario games in terms of anybody being able to pick up and play and like, oh, this is exactly how I remembered it.
Yeah.
So I've never had an example this extreme. That's maybe a more minor example. I mean, I still had a good time with it, but I could see how, like, if you were not born, in that era to play that game, you'd be like, this is
bad. Yeah.
This is not good. I don't replay a ton of games,
Right.
especially these days where games just get released constantly. So maybe this is kind of like a bonus of that, where I kind of don't need to. It's like if I had a great experience, that can be my memory.
Yeah.
I don't need to go back and mess that up.
Yeah, I rarely replay games as well, unless it's Super Mario World, then I play it all the time.
Yeah.
But I think Super Mario Kart is my answer, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
That's a good
replayed that
one.
recently a couple of times, and I just was like, this is really impossible to play. This is like
Very different.
extremely difficult.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And I remember loving this game when it first came out for SNES. And then playing it again, I was like, I suck at this. I'm like really bad at this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe I got worse at playing Mario Kart. I don't know. It's really hard.
I actually experience sometimes an opposite of this effect when it comes to games that are older. The games that I played first when I was pretty young, and like maybe it was a more complex game than I should have been playing.
Okay, and then you play it now.
And it's like, oh well, now I'm just better at games now because I played
Yeah.
more games, and
Your brain is fully formed.
I'm not 8 years old, so I can understand what this game wants me to do. more.
Yeah.
So I have experienced that of going back to like old NES or Super NES games of like, oh, this is actually clicking with me now in a way it didn't before.
Yeah, yeah.
So that can be interesting.
That's true.
Yeah. Them's the questions.
Oh, boy.
Thank you, everybody.
We're getting there.
We are.
Shall we shout out some superstars?
Let's do that.
Okay. Aaron Hash.
Ben Eichhorn.
Maru Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up. _
Safazon.
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of Winds.
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Bruce Dash.
And Raintech.
Woohoo! Oh, you didn't change their names to their creepy names for the One Up Club? No,
You can do that.
I'm not doing that. But it would be hilarious if they did. If you did. Okay, One Up Club, graduation ceremony, just imagine the creepy names. Aaron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Bad Moon Horizon.
Benji B.
Blue Yellow Gray.
Bookem Dano.
Bookishly Fab.
Brook Obscura.
Brookie Kazooie.
Chelly Squirrel.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Crimcat.
C. Roper 17.
Dachshund.
Doinko.
Dolce.
Dino Punch.
Elite Peach.
Espars 50.
Fart Priest 69.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Frulio.
Garrett Hullfish.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
G-Sun 101.
Heroic.
Iris Marin.
Jay Rando.
Jabroni Jones.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jerry 92602.
Jesse Hernandez.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Juz Camtro.
Justin Lemminger.
Kawa 2796.
Keith Kwan.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kibo.
Christorati Kid.
Christopia Party With Me.
Kyle Gamer Berry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Linnell Stickman.
Lit.
Luminous.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent EZG plus Callie Marie.
Marky Man 64.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Mikey.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Palm.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
MSM Poke Gamer.
My Tran.
Nasir.
Nathan Burkhart.
Nick E.
Ninja 11.
Panda Bug.
Pangy.
Palsy Pace.
Paul Yo Network.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Reaver.
Riot 1.
Rob Osborne.
Rox.
Rianetta.
Sharif Jackson.
Sheer Cold Vanille.
Shinru.
Slowbro.
Silly Ferret.
Snazzle.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Sunny Gaduru.
Tales of Link.
Terrastorm.
The Shark Among Men.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Topher Schmofer.
Travis Torline.
Trajowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tyler Geis.
Zaz.
Video Game Stupid.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
Weeb Kingdom.
WG Grizzy.
Wicked Davy.
Will Johnson.
Zudaverf.
Zelgrov.
Zapatty.
And Zoid.
Wow. I imagine the creepy names in my head.
Come up with your own creepy names if you're
What's
playing
my-
along at home.
Breatho Scare? Someone said Breatho Scare.
It's a good one for you.
What's your
Somebody
creepy
made instead. So I go by Keto San. They made Keto Sans, like Sans from Undertale, and they even made like artwork of it.
That's right. The Keto Sans
I think it was Bruce Dash who made that.
It was very
It's like,
good.
wow, I don't even know how you do this.
It looks cool. It looks
Yeah,
just like
it's
you.
pretty cool.
It's really cool. Well, if you want to join our amazing community and get your own spooky name, then join us on patreon.com/KittenKrysta.
If you are watching on video, you can go ahead and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up and leave us a comment. If you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating and a written review if you please.
And the socials, we are Kitten Krysta on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Threads. All right, we hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast. Hope you're enjoying Mario Wonder. Tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.